Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your man James, aka JP, back again with the toy room, and it's time. We're finally gonna do it. We're going to be not completely, but I would say like halfway remodeling the toy room. If you guys saw my last video of selling my entire collection, I'm not selling like my entire collection, but as you can see, I got some empty shelves there. I got also some empty shelves there. So I did sell a pretty substantial part of my collection in order to make room for new stuff and also to allow me to go ahead and be able to kind of do this remodel. So I would say half of the room is getting remodeled, which is going to be this half behind me and the side to my left. Everything behind me this way on that side of the room is going to be pretty much staying the same for now, at least. But we're basically going to be flip-flopping this side of the room. So everything that is behind me right over here is going to be going on this wall, and then some of that stuff is going to be going on this wall. It all makes sense once it's all said and done, but I do just want to give you guys kind of a quick look at the room, how it looks now, so obviously you guys can compare before and after once we're finally done. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this all in one video, or I might split this into a couple videos. Honestly, I really have no plan. I'm just kind of turning the camera on and getting to the remodel, so we'll see how that goes. This may be one whole video, this may be a short series, but either way, I'm going to set you guys, well, first I'm going to show you guys what the room looks like now, and then I'll set you guys on a time lapse as I start to reconstruct everything. I don't really like have a set in stone plan of how I plan the room to look and to come out. I have a general idea. I did like a brief measurement of everything, and I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna start moving things around, see how I feel about stuff, see if maybe I need to change my initial plan. So again, not really a set in stone plan, just kind of going with the flow. So anyways, let's go ahead and see what the room looks like now. All right, you guys, here we are. So I'm only gonna show off the sides of the room that matter, so that's why I'm standing in this back corner over here. But this is what the room is looking like right now. I'm gonna move that couch out the way to make me some room to move around and whatnot. But essentially, the arcades and the TV are gonna go along that back wall, and then that back wall there, I'm gonna get rid of one cabinet, or not one cabinet, but one shelf, and then move three. Actually, I'm probably gonna get rid of two shelves. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I might get rid of that shelf and then that shelf right over there. So that'll have three shelves that are gonna be moving along this wall, and then I have another one of these shelves that I'm getting to put right in that corner. So I know it sounds a little confusing without like actually having everything set out in front of me, but just bear with me and you guys will see. But here we are. So like I said, I did get rid of all my Star Wars figures. I did get rid of a big portion of my Ninja Turtles figures, and then this is what I'm left with right over here. So we're gonna see how all this goes, and I'm gonna put you guys on a time lapse, and I'm just gonna start getting into it, and I'll stop periodically as I need to kind of give you guys some updates as to what I'm doing. But there is a quick look at the room. I have to figure out where all these stuff on the wall are gonna go, but I'll get there when I get there. So I don't know what I'm gonna start doing first, honestly. Like maybe just moving these arcades out the way and then start taking some figures down, which is, it's gonna pain me to do, but I need to do it. Start taking some figures down and then moving the shelves over here. I don't know, so whatever. Time lapse time. I'll see you guys in a second. So here we are so far. All the arcade 1-ups got out of there relatively easy. I just love how lightweight and easy those things are to move around. And if you want to see what my mess of wiring looked like in order to power all that stuff, well, there you go. So that pretty much powers all the arcade 1-ups, these LED lights, and I think that was it. Honestly, that's all that I had plugged into there. All the stuff over here is plugged into its own power supply, which is what this cable is over there. But yeah, wow, I have not seen this side of the room empty, or pretty much any side of the room empty, since we initially like started building this room. Like, oh man, what has it been, like 5 years ago, some 4 years ago, maybe something like that, which is crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that quick update. So let me go ahead, put you back on the time lapse, and just keep cranking away at it. you guys just saw, I was dusting off. I took the opportunity to dust off that window because honestly, I probably haven't dusted off that window or that windowsill since I put those arcades there, and they're probably not going to get dusted anytime again until the next time I ever decide to do like a remodel of this room. But I think that's the number one question that I always get asked anytime that people see this room or they come to the channel. The number one question is always, how do you keep things dust free? How do you clean? How do you dust with all of these figures like this? And I think any collector, anyone who has a room similar to mine will tell you the secret is we just don't. We don't dust. And to be honest, like, not dusting in here is not too bad. It honestly does not get that dusty. I'll show you guys the empty shelf. I have not dusted any of these shelves or anything since I took the figures off that I sold. So you can still see some of the outlines of the figures' feet and the bases that they stood on. And you will see that honestly, for not having been moved for the last like 4 years or however long it's been since we created this room, it's really not that much dust. So let me go ahead and show you guys, and I'll probably have to bring in my phone as a flash because the lighting on this side of this room sucks. Hold on one second. Here we go. So you can see what the dust buildup looks like. Now it's not like a ton of dust. Now obviously, yes, there is dust, and I need the camera to focus. There we go. That's a little bit better. So yeah, as you can see, like, obviously, yes, there's dust, and when you have all the figures off, that's when you're going to notice it, because you'll see the footprints and everything of the figures that were standing there. But when you have the figures on there, honestly, you don't really see it. And I'll show you guys this shelf as well, so you can see just some of the dust buildup. Now, like I said, keep in mind that's about 4 years, 3-4 years maybe, of having these figures just sitting there. So not terrible. And I'll show you guys the Star Wars section if we focus. There we go. So you can see where all of the figures were there. So not bad. Honestly, like, that's the secret. Because let me tell you, there is not a single collector that I know, unless somebody who's like just really passionate about keeping their stuff clean and organized, there's not a single collector I know that's going to take the time to take all the figures down, dust everything, and then go ahead and put them right back up. And I mean, I'm sure there are people out there, but I'm definitely not going to be one of them. I don't have time to do that. And it's just not worth it, in my opinion. Especially with this room, there's not a lot of like dust that builds up in here, luckily. If you guys are collectors and do have dust problems, I recommend an air purifier that will help basically just cut down on dust and purify the air in the room as well. But it's gonna do a good job of eliminating any dust or like pet hair or debris or whatever that might be floating around in the room. An air purifier, like specifically like a nice big one, that will help you a lot with dust, as well as any other stuff that might be floating around in the room. Anyways, just want to take that little break to answer that question, because I get asked that question, no lie, like probably once a week, if not more. Like, how do I dust? How do I keep this room dust free? And how do I clean? And the secret is, we just don't. Anyways, back to the time lapse. So I don't know if you guys could really tell what I was doing, but I got that one shelf out of there. All the VHSs and all the other random like accessories that I had on there are all on the floor over here. And then what I had to do that I don't think you guys could see was I forgot that I have an LED strip that goes basically along this whole top of all of these cabinets right here, and then came all the way down. So I had to carefully peel that off all the way behind it before I could pull that shelf out, because had I not, well, I would have eventually ended up dragging this LED strip, and probably, I don't know if it would have been strong enough to like make everything fall over and collapse, but it definitely would have shaken everything and make all the figures come falling off, which, even though I'm going to be taking them off, I don't want to do that because I need to keep things at least organized by shelf. So that's where we're at with that. I got to do this shelf here and go on from there. So the Power Ranger shelf, I'm not really looking forward to having to take down because I'm pretty happy with how everything's laid out, but you know, it is what it is. It's part of the process, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So I may have done something incredibly smart or incredibly stupid. We'll find out here in a second. But to make my life easier, instead of taking all the figures down and putting all the figures back up, I figured, no pun intended, I figured why not let me try just knocking all the figures over on their respective shelves, and then that way I don't have to worry about them falling over, and then hopefully I can just move the whole shelf as one with all the figures and whatnot on them, and then again not have to worry about them falling, and then I can just pick them up and fix them, and I don't have to take everything down and pick them back up and do double work. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this will work. I guess we'll see here in a second. Alright, so that actually worked out pretty well. I know the room looks crazy right now, but just trust the process. Yeah, we had a couple casualties. Not this pile here. That pile was already on the floor from some stuff that had fallen over previously. But you can see a couple of trail of figures that did fall over. Honestly, way less than I thought was going to. And it's easy stuff to pick up, stuff that was right there in the front. So, I really can't complain about that method. And that's going to make life, oh, as I just kicked some stuff over here, that's going to make life so much easier and so much quicker when it comes to moving the rest of these guys. So now, I guess I'm just going to continue moving the rest of the stuff over here, and then I'll worry about like actually fixing and organizing the figures later. I did want to keep the shelves kind of flush up against the wall. However, if I do keep these lights here, then I can't, and I'm like 50-50 because during the day these lights don't matter, but at nighttime it actually makes a really cool effect and lights up all the blinds. Now I'm trying to figure out what to do with the blinds. From the longest time ago, I should really get like a curtain or something to kind of hide the blinds, and it's really the only source of daylight that I have in here other than this window here as well, but that's mostly blocked, and this one is going to be mostly blocked as well. So yeah, I don't know what to do with these lights. I don't know if I should move them. Maybe I'll move them. I'll put them here and figure something out with them. That way I can have these shelves kind of as far back as possible, because as it is now, I have this one as far back as possible, and you can see it still sticks out quite a bit compared to the rest of the stuff, but it does stick out, I would say, considerably less than the arcade 1-up machines that I had over here. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll move these lights and not use them over here, because I'm rarely ever filming videos at night, since my daughter's room is literally on the other side of this wall over here. So at nighttime, I don't really need the lights for the aesthetics because I'm not in here really. So I'll probably just rip those lights out, and then that way I can have everything flush up against the wall. And yeah, this room, it's looking crazy right now. It's looking like a tornado came through here. But trust me, when it's all said and done, it will all make sense. Fingers crossed. Wait, there we go. Fingers crossed. Okay, so as you might have noticed in that last clip, I ran out of space and I kind of mismeasured everything along the back wall. So once that happened, I kind of just like blacked out and reassessed the whole room and forgot to hit record and literally redid the entire room. But I'm not going to show that off in this video because I'm sure this video is already long enough, and because the entire room is done at this point, I'm going to give you guys a proper updated room tour. Probably not in the next video. I think the next video is going to be the Switch 2 unboxing if I release this in time before that. Which the Switch 2 comes out tomorrow while I'm filming this outro. So I've I've been working non-stop in the room. I blacked out for like the last 4 days, just like in here going crazy, and I'll just give you guys a quick little sneak peek of what the room looks like now, and that's gonna be all that you guys get. It's gonna look a little different, some stuff in the background. I gotta do the finishing touches here, but the room is pretty much done. But hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed a majority of redoing the room, but I'll give a more in-depth tour in the next, or the video after the next. So 2 videos from now, you guys will see a proper updated room tour, and I'm really happy with the results. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Be sure to follow me on social media. That link's in the description down below. And I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. So as always, guys, stay tuned for more, and I'll see you guys next time.